morning everyone. So let's move on to class. Today we are going to start so Docker. I hope already Jenkins also completed, right? MS Paint.
Yeah,
Okay.
completed.
Can you see my screen? Not that. Hello.
Hello.
So now already you know. So Maven completed. What are the tools as of now? Maven, Git, Jenkins, next Linux, Shell also completed, right? AWS running, right?
Yeah, AWS
Okay,
is
today
running.
we are going to see so Docker. Okay, now come to here. So first we'll see what is Docker and why you go for Docker, and so what is the advantages and what is the disadvantage and all. We'll see what is Docker. Now, if we see here, so if you want to set up anything, if you want to do, uh, right, a deployment, or if you want to configure any VM missions. So generally, if you want to configure any mission, for example, I want to set up so Tomcat or Jenkins, any one server. So usually we are using some any one instance, right? Whether we are going to install VM missions, virtual mission, so VM that is VM missions, or we can go for now AWS. AWS, we are going to select any one instance, right? AWS instance, or so anything. This and all mostly we are configuring physically only, right? VM machines means so right now I have operating system. So operating system means so if you want to same operating system, one more operating system. So how we can configure with the help of VM machines we can configure. So already I have some operating system. Simply, right, a dual operating system or something, anything more than one, right? So with the help of VM machines, we are going to set up a real time. Mostly they are using so VM machines. Nowadays clouds are available, right? There is many clouds available, and so that is the reason. So this VMs and all mostly this is also outdated, deprecated. Earlier, if you go 10 years, right, most of the servers and they are configuring VM machines, and in the VM machines they are configuring what are the softwares, which application we want to deploy, and what are the necessary packages. So like this they are creating. Now right, so now most of the people now we are using cloud. There is AWS cloud, Microsoft Azure cloud, Google cloud. There is many clouds available in market. So instead of maintaining physically local, for example, simply understand this is the organization. So what is happening? This is the organization, and they want one server. They want one server, high configuration server for deploying one application. For example, 6 months or 1 year. Just assume. Very simple. So this is the organization. Correct? This is the org. This is the org, and they want one server. They want to deploy one application, and so if you want to deploy any application, at least we need some configuration, right? So they want one server. This is the server. But a real time, right? So just assume simply I want one server, one instance. That is nothing but one operating system. This is also operating system. Don't confuse. This is also an operating system. I need one server. So in this server means so maybe Windows server or Linux server or Ubuntu server or CentOS server, anything. So they need one server. Why they need? They want to deploy one application. I want to deploy one application. That's it. So for example, I have one project. I have a one project, ABC project. So if you want to deploy this ABC project or XYZ project, any project. So before, if you want to deploy, we need some prerequisites, right? So one server we need, whether Tomcat server, JBoss server, WebLogic server, some servers, right? So I hope everyone know what is Tomcat server. In Jenkins also already we configure and how to deploy our applications and all. And also we need some, I need to configure some CI/CD tool. I need to configure Jenkins. And so this is a Java. I need Java project. I need to install Java software. And so I want to install some, right, uploading artifact files and all, Nexus and all. So there is many package, many dependencies we need, right? So if you want to configure this all these things, I hope as of now we need one operating system. I hope everyone clear, right? So on top of operating system, this is the one operating system. This is the one operating system. On top of, I am going to install so Tomcat server. I need to install Jenkins server. I need to install Java and also Maven. There is a lot of already, So what are the, so if you want to run one application, what are the dependency packages and all? I hope clear, right? Got it? Anyone any doubt here? So this and all we need to install manually. Now, so if you want to install one operating system, without operating system, directly can you install Tomcat server, or directly we can install Jenkins server? Without operating system, can you install Java software as of now? Clear, guys? Anyone any doubt here? So as of now, you configure all these things. Where you configure on top of operating system, correct? Oh, yes. Yes or no? Anyone any doubt? So laptop already everyone configure. Right now I am using, so this is the Windows 10 operating system. Here I installed Jenkins server. But so if you want to install Tomcat server, we need one operating system. Got it? Anyone any doubt here? Clear?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
clear. Yeah.
so this, for example, I want to deploy. So for example, I have a 10 I have a 5 application in my organization, 5, right, 5 projects. So if you want to configure 5 projects, and so there is some require prerequisites, right? I need some configuration, some dependencies, softwares. So for Java projects, different softwares. For .NET projects, I need to install different packages. For Salesforce projects, I need to configure different packages and all. Now, so we can also configure physically one operating system. On top of, we can configure Tomcat, Jenkins server and all. But what is the problem here, So we need to give some spend, so lot of, right, uh, lot of hardware devices, software devices, and also we need to spend more space, right? Suppose if you want to install operating system, one mission, how much at least it will take, so 15 to 20 GB, right? 15 to 20 GB hard space it will occupy. So on top of, we are going to install the Tomcat server, and Tomcat and all, how much time it will take to configure Tomcat server. I need to configure Jenkins server. How much time it will take to configure Jenkins server. So like this, we need to share all resources, existing resources and all. So to overcome this, nowadays, right, most of the people we are using, right, containerization. Right, containers. In already, right, highways, if you see containers. Container means it is carrying many items, right? We don't know, leave it. Inside they are what items they are carrying, leave it. Containers means they are carrying many items. Got it? So, so nowadays, so most of people we are using, so there is, right, containerizations. Container means, see earlier, if you go old, see here, we have one operating system. This is the traditional deployment. I want to deploy one application. If you want to deploy one application, as of now, what are the tools mandatory, guys? You need, if you want to deploy any application, Tomcat is mandatory, right? If you want to build artifact files and all, so we need CI/CD part, Jenkins or anything, anyone want for C. And I need Java, or if it's .NET means we need to install .NET project, .NET packages. And if you want to build Java, we need Maven software, Maven packages or Ant. Got it? Now these are the mandatory. Now see here earlier how they are using old days. Now see here there is a hardware, software, operating system. This is our operating system. And every mission for every project deployment they are maintaining one separate, They are maintaining one separate. So here 5 projects means we need to buy 5 missions, right? We need to buy 5 missions, and every mission we need to configure based on project requirement. Got it? So for example, this is the Java project deployment. I need two operating systems, two missions. They need to buy two missions, two missions, and every mission they need to configure a necessary packages. On top of we are going to deploy our application. See here, so like this, an application. This is the old process. Now later they come to VM, virtualized deployment. Virtualized deployment. Virtualized means so they have 5 projects, right? So they are maintaining one server, one high configuration server. This is the one server, only one server. They are buying so one mission. So whether it is anything Linux or Windows, whatever it may be, this and all based on project requirement. So we are going to buy one server, high configuration server, high configuration one server. So just assume this is the 1 TB hard disk space, 1 TB, 1 TB, 1 TB HD, 1 TB SSD or HDD. Okay, now I have so 128 GB RAM. Okay, 128 GB RAM. So remaining process under i5, i7, some level of a configuration. Now how many projects here? 5 projects, right? This is only one server. This is a high configuration server. So in this server, with the help of VM, with the help of VM, with the help of VM, we are going to create multiple VM missions, virtual missions. So this is the main operating system. This is the main operating system. Just assume this is the Linux or Ubuntu or anything. This is the Linux or Windows, whatever it may be. And on top of, we are going to install multiple operating systems. So this is nothing but a VM missions. This is nothing but a VM virtual missions. So for example, for Java project, I am going to create one VM mission. For .NET project, I am going to create one VM missions. For Salesforce, I am going to create one VM mission. So Java related softwares package and all I am going to install here. And .NET related, I am configuring this is the right. This is the main operating system, don't confuse here. So this is the main operating system. On top of we are going to create multiple VM missions. Now see here, if you want to create one VM missions, if anyone tried means we can easily understand. So this is the main hardware devices operating system, and we need to install one hypervisor software. This is also VM. If you want to create any VM, that is we need to install one sub package, right? One software. So that is the on top of VM. Just assume so this is also Linux mission. This is also Linux. On top of I am going to create a one Linux mission. Just assume I need one Linux mission. I need one. This is the Windows, right? On top of I need one Linux server. So for this server, if you want to install, this is also one operating system. Don't confuse here. But with the help of VM only, we are creating so this operating system. If you want to install, if you want to configure Linux also operating system VM machines, so this is the configuration, right? Every missions I need to share existing hardware resources. I need to share. This is the 1 TB hard disk, right? For Linux missions, again I am giving 20 GB hard disk, 20 GB HDD hard disk or that is SSD, anything. Again we are going to give some space. How much space you want to allocate this mission? Okay, I need to give 20 GB. I need to give so 20 GB. I need to give 20 GB. And how much RAM you want to give this Linux operating system? How much RAM you want to share? So this is the total 128 GB RAM. I need, for example, 16 GB RAM I am sharing to this operating system. Now got it? This is the one VM missions. For example, for .NET project deployment, I need one more VM missions. Same way, like this, I am creating one more VM missions. Just assume this is the main operating system. Don't confuse. On top of we are going to do multiple VM missions. So this is the for example .NET project deployment. I need .NET. Okay. So for this we need some operating system, right? Whether it is suitable for this is suitable for line Windows or whatever it may be. Okay. This is the for .NET project. So here also, right? Now total 1 TB. 1 TB already I share it to Linux operating system 20 GB, and this is the total. Remaining for this, I am going to share, for example, 50 GB. hard disk, 50 GB hard disk space. And also here also I am sharing to 16 GB for this VM missions. So like this we are sharing. Now assume, so total 1 TB. Now here 50 gone, here also 20, total 70. Remaining how much space here free? So based on here 128 GB, approximately 50 plus 70. So 1 TB means how many GB? 1000 GB, right? Now remaining, so remaining space available here, main operating system. Here also total 128 GB RAM. Here already I shared 16 GB RAM to this operating system, 16 GB RAM, this RAM 32. Remaining here 94 so available. So like this we need to create. And so now one more thing. So so this is the main operating system. On top of we are going to create multiple VM missions, same like multiple VM missions. So obviously, what is happening? System performance goes down, right? Now got it. Clear, Srinath? Performance automatically it goes down. So how to
Yeah,
overcome?
correct.
So how to overcome? So how to overcome? So with the help of now this is the VM missions. How many you want? We can create. That is your wish. But anyway, if we create more VM missions, automatically it will goes down. The performance and all it will goes down. So to overcome this, now one more thing here try to understand, and this is the Linux operating system. If you want to install Linux operating system, how much time it will take at least? If anyone already installed Windows or Linux machine or anything, so how much time it will take, guys? At least operating system
2 to 5 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes, right? 15 to
2 to 5.
15 to 20 minutes physically we are
Yeah.
configuring, right? Or at least
Okay.
just assume 15 minutes. So here it will take 15 minutes. Okay, if you want to configure one VM missions, here it will take so 15 minutes. This is the min time. Okay, maximum it will take 20 to 30 minutes. For this operating system also it will take 15 to 20 minutes just as for like this. If you want to create five projects, five VM missions. So 15 jar, it will take how much time? 1.5 hour it will take, right? So this is time also waste. Hardware, here right. So that physical components also it will time waste. And also if you create five VM machines, same operating system, this main server it goes down. Obviously, there is no doubt. Right? This is the main operating system. For example, this is my Windows operating system. Correct? In this VM machine, in this operating system, I need three VM machines. I can install. It is working, but it is working very slowly. In top of this operating system I am going to configure two more operating systems. So it will work, but it will work very slow. The performance goes down. The performance it will go to decrease, scale down, right? Now how to overcome this and all? So to overcome this, nowadays in current market, most of the people we are using most of the people we are using see here Docker. This is the Docker. So what is this Docker and how it will work and all we'll see. I hope you got some idea, right? So earlier, so we are maintaining traditional deployment. Traditional means for every project, and we are buying one mission, and we are going to set up some softwares, what is necessary packages and all. On top of we are going to deploy our application, and so later they move to virtualization VM. VM means they are buying one big machine, one server, high configuration server. On top of that server, they are going to configure multiple missions. This all also VM means that is virtual machine. This is also operating system. Don't confuse here. Okay. So this is the VM missions. And every VM missions we are going to configure necessary. See here, this is also operating system. But this is the main operating system. So this is the VM. On top of we are going to configure. So we can configure like this, and so anyway it will goes down. There is some drawback, it will take long time and all. And so the performance we need to buy high configuration server. On top of we need to create multiple VM missions. Even if we create VM missions, or we need to deploy application, even if we deployed, so it will run very slowly. But how to overcome this problem? So to overcome this problem, so nowadays we are using Docker. So this is the current market. Most of the people they are using Docker. Okay. So in interview also. So if anyone trying job, So if you mention Docker in your resume, 100% they are asking questions in Docker also. So why you go for Docker? Why you go for Docker? What is the advantage of Docker? Okay, so this is, so here Docker means this is a container deployment. This is a VM virtualization. This is a virtualized deployment. This is the traditional deployment. Now I hope you got idea. If you see this image, we can easily understand what is happening here. This is only one operating system. Here one operating system, top of we can create multiple operating systems. But anyway, there is some drawbacks. We'll see that and all. And also nowadays we are using containers. Nowadays we are using containers. Okay, that is nothing but Docker. See, container deployment. Container deployment. I hope you got some idea, right? Now, very important question. So, what is difference between so VM and virtual container Docker? We virtual VM machines and so this is a container or Docker. So they are asking most of the people they are asking this question. What is difference between so containerization and the Docker and all? So we'll see here how it will work. See what is the difference between virtual machines and Docker? Now, as of now, we know. So, how it will work? So, what is VM missions? What is physical missions? How it will work? So, mostly they are asking. This is very important interview purpose. Okay. So, what is difference between VM missions and Docker, and why you go for Docker? Now, see here hardware level process isolation. Just now we discussed, right? So, hardware level isolation for every mission we need to create manually. See here, we need to share existing, we need to share existing resources and all, hard disk, RAM, everything we need to share it. Now see here, this is the OS level process isolation. Here no need to create anything. So just this is the one operating system. If you come to Docker, right? So if you come to Docker, if you come to Docker, so this is the hardware layer. This is the one layer, hardware layer. On top of we are going to configure. This is the hardware layer. On top of we are going to create a operating system. Okay, so directly same. Already just I saw right one image here in the starting. So same like this is the hardware operating system. On top of we are going to install the Docker software. That's it. That's it. So apart from this, nothing. No need to do anything. So how it will work and all we'll see. Now see here. This is the OS level. If this is the hardware, on top of we are going to this is the Docker. We are going to install the Docker, we are going to install the Docker, and the top of we are going to create multiple containers. So this is the container 1, this is the container 2. Like this we can create multiple containers. How many you want we can create those many containers. So this is same process. This is the hardware. Hardware means right. So how much that all hardware components available here in this layer. This is the hardware. These are the operating system. This is the operating system. On top of we are going to install the so Docker software. Here installation, this is very simple. Docker. This is the here we are going to install the Docker. With the help of on top of Docker, we can create a containers. Here the new terminology is container. Now I am giving a C1 container 1. This is the C2 container 2. So like this we can create many containers. How many containers we need? So that many containers we can create. So now this is a new terminology. Try to understand this is the container. So this is the container. This is the container. Now we'll see what is container and all. So this is the hardware on top of operating system. Maybe this is Windows operating system or Linux operating system, whatever it may be. So Windows or Linux, anything that is based on this we can create. Okay, this is the operating system. On top of we are going to install the Docker software. So operating system top we are going to so install one Docker software. With the help of this we can create multiple containers. Container 1, container 2, container 3, like this we can create. Now we'll see one by one how it will work. See here, each VM machine has separate operating system. Now already we discussed, right? So each VM is separate operating system, and so each container on share operating system. Now see here, here there is no separate operating system, only one operating system. On top of we install Docker. With the help of Docker we are going to create the containers. Now see here, each container can share the existing operating system. and boot in time, boot in minutes, boot in seconds. For example, right, if you open any VM machines, or suppose just if you switch on the laptop, how much time it will take, guys, to up the system? At least 1 or 2 minutes, right? Yes or no? So that is this point. If you want to see here, boots in minutes. If you want to connect VM machine, at least it will take 1 to 2 minutes. If you want to connect operating system, correct? 1 or 2 minutes it will take based on system. Okay, but if you want to come to container, if you want to connect the container, within the seconds we can connect, within the seconds we can connect the container, we can connect the container. Now see here, now VMs are, we are few GBs. Now if you want to configure VM machines, VM, so if you want to configure virtual machine, we need to give at least a space, GB only we need to share. See here, VMs are few GBs, VMs are few GBs. But if we come to container, containers are lightweight. It is occupying only KBs, kilobyte or megabyte, MB only. So it is occupying space and all only a megabyte. So or KB or kilobyte based on that this one. So this is the main difference. So here we need to share GB and here we need to share only, it will occupy only MB, megabyte or KB, kilobyte only. But if we come to VM machines, at least it will occupy so GBs only. Now see here, ready-made VMs are difficult to find. See here, here ready-made VMs. For example, Linux one VM machine and Windows for VM machine. There is no ready-made, right? Ready-made VMs are find very difficult. But we need to, based on your requirement, we need to configure. We need to configure manually. But if we come to containers, if we come to containers, containers are, see here, pre-built Docker image containers are easily available. There is already existing images available. For example, I need Tomcat. I need to configure Tomcat. Already Tomcat image available. For example, you want to configure Jenkins. So already Jenkins image available. These are the existing already predefined images available. With the help of these images, we can within the seconds we can create containers. Within the seconds, seconds we can create the containers. So that is the main advantage of so Docker. Now see here, VMs can move to new host easily. So for example, or somewhere if you configure any VM, so that and all we can take backup, we can move to another mission. But if you come to containers, here no need to move. Simply we can destroy whenever we can need. Just we can create. Just only seconds, right? If you don't want, we can delete it. We can destroy. Whenever if we need, we can create. Within the seconds, we can create. See here, recreate rather than the moving. So whenever if you don't want, containers are destroyed and recreate rather than the moving. So within the seconds we can create one more container. And create VM takes a relatively longer time. Right, if you want to configure with the help of VM, it will take 15 to 20 minutes. But if you come to containers, containers can create within the seconds only. If you any container. Now one more thing, if you want to configure VM missions, see here, if you want to configure VM missions, so there is lot of more resources are needed. We need to configure more resources. But if you want to create containers, see here, very less resources, very less resources. So this is very, very important. So interview also, most of the people they are asking this question: what is difference between virtual machine and so Docker or container? Okay, so just at least remember 2 3 points. If they ask this question, at least we need to explain 2 3 points. So what you understand, all are very simple points only. Just whatever just remember. See here, so boots in minutes, boots in seconds, each VM is in separate operating system, each container can share existing operating system. This is the hardware level isolation process. This is the OS level process isolation. And what you see, creating VMs take longer time. If you want to create a containers, it will take very less time. Here more resources we need to share. So here very less resources we need to share. It won't occupy. And these are the these are the some basic difference between VM machines and containers. I hope you got it right. Anyone any doubt, guys? Clear? Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so as of now, we are following one deployment. So which deployment process we are following, guys? So there is two types of deployment. So monolithic application and microservices. So, so monolithic means as of now we are following this one. Now try to understand. So as of now we are following so this process. Monolithic application. Monolithic application means so everything we are going to deploy the see monolithic architecture. So interval also they are asking which architecture we are following. Monolithic architecture or microservices. So this is a microservices architecture. So anyway, as of now, right, Jenkins. In Jenkins, we created a war file, that is war file, artifact file. Once artifact file is generated, we are going to deploy the one server. Which server we deployed as of now? I hope everyone familiar on that. So Tomcat server, right? Got it. Just assume. So we have one Java. Already you know how to configure, how to set up Jenkins server. So this is the Java project. Okay. So this is the Java, right? So this is the GitHub. You have something, and this is the just assume. Why it is everything here? See here. So this is the Java project. This is the Java project. So for this already we configure few things, right? We configure Jenkins server for CI/CD process. We configure and Maven also, and we configure one Tomcat server. We deployed into the that server and all. You deployed into that server. So this is the CI/CD process, and with that this is the GitHub. Just assume this is the repository GitHub and all. So my entire source code available. We are maintaining somewhere, right? So mostly you know what is GitHub and all. So this is the my entire source code available here, and this is the Jenkins server with the help of Jenkins, and this is the Maven build tool. This is the build tool. This is the build tool we are using, right? So whether we can use Maven, Gradle, and anything, whatever it may be. So mostly you know Maven, and with the help of Maven in Jenkins it is generating artifact files. Which file it is generating? Artifact files. What format? As of now most of the case we trigger, right? Mostly there is two ways, whether we can generate war file or jar file or er file or er file, any type. So mostly you know which format, you know, jar already, you know, var. So this is the web archive. This is the web archive. So once artifact file is generated, so we are going to deploy. How to test whether this application is running or not? You are testing somewhere, right? Got it. So in Jenkins var file is generated. Okay, everything it is up to here succeeded. How to check whether this application is working or not, whether this application we can able to access or not, where it is there is no errors, how can check it? We need to deploy any server, right? So now here this is the one server, you know, right? Which server, you know, already you know everyone, Tomcat server. So Tomcat Tomcat server. In this server, I deployed my application. This is the, for example, java.war file. This is the artifact file. So this is the server. So this is the CI/CD. This is the repository, and this is the build tools. So and also in real time we can see many environments. I hope everyone familiar on this process how it will work. Now see here the entire project we are generating which file? Which file? Only war file. So this is a Java project. The entire source code we are with the help of build Maven, with the help of Jenkins, we are generating one file. What is that file name? Var file, web archive. See here. So same. So this is the var file. Var file means this is the front end page account. This is for understanding purpose. So that entire all modules, we are grouping one file, var file, and generating one artifact file, var file. That var file we are going to deploy into the Tomcat server. Deploy, test, develop, test, deploy, and scale up and scale down if you need. Simply develop the code and test the code and deploy into any one server. That's it. See here, this is the monolithic architecture. Monolithic means we are grouping all models one file. We are grouping all models in one format. For example, you want to courier some for 10 items. We are parceling one separate 10 parcels or only one. For example, I want to send for example 100 pencils. Okay, so we are querying 100 times or only one time. Now got it. We are grouping, right? So monolithic means all models we are grouping and we are generating only one file. That is the file var file. This var file we are going to deploy into the Tomcat server. So this is nothing but a monolithic architecture. Now here, so there is one drawback. For example, so just assume my project, I have four models: front end UI model, user interface, and account service model, and inventory service model, and shipping service model. So my project, four services. So for example, so developer updated one model. Just assume account service, they updated this model, they updated. Account service model developers updated. So again, if you want to check that, again we need to build the entire project, right? Or we can build only specific model as of now. Anyone? We created a new var file or only this particular changes only you trigger. అర్థమవుతుందా? This is the project. My project has different files. Just assume UI, user interface, account service, inventory service, shipping service. Now, if we trigger the build, all models we are grouping into the one file. What is that file? Which file it is generating? Jenkins var file. Got it? Here, anyone, any doubt? Clear? What Hemant? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Now, for example, developer modified only this service, inventory service. So developer updated which code? Only inventory service related code only updated. Now in monolithic architecture, if we trigger the build, again what it will do? All models it is grouping, again it is generating one new var file. Now got it? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? అర్థమైందా? సో ఇప్పుడు దీన్నే మాడిఫై చేశారు డెవలపర్. నేను ఇప్పుడు వరకే సో ఈ మోడల్స్ని మనం బిల్డ్ని ట్రిగ్గర్ చేసామా, ఎంటైర్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ని బిల్డ్ ట్రిగ్గర్ చేసామా? వాట్ హేమంత్? సో మాడిఫై చేసింది సింగిల్ మోడల్. బట్ నేను జెంకిన్స్ బిల్డ్ రన్ చేస్తే నీకేం జనరేట్ అవుతుంది? వన్ ఆర్టిఫాక్ట్ ఫైల్ వస్తుంది. గాట్ ఇట్?
Yes, sir.
సో మళ్ళీ ఆల్ మోడల్స్ మొత్తం మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ బిల్డ్ ట్రిగ్గర్ అయ్యి సో ఫైనల్గా వీఆర్ జనరేటింగ్ వన్ వార్ ఫైల్. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద వర్డ్. సో monolithic means every time entire project we are going to trigger. Every time entire project we are going to trigger. Very simple. Clear Hemant? సో మనం ఏం మాడిఫై చేసినా ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, సో నవ్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు మాడిఫై ద షిప్పింగ్ సర్వీస్. ఇప్పుడు మన షిప్పింగ్ సర్వీస్నే బిల్డ్ ట్రిగ్గర్ చేయలేం ఇప్పటివరకే. మళ్ళీ ఎంటైర్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ మళ్ళీ ఏం చేస్తున్నాం? బిల్డ్ రన్ చేసి మళ్ళీ ఫైనల్గా మనకి ఏమొస్తుంది? వార్ ఫైల్ అనేది జనరేట్ అవుతుంది. గాట్ ఇట్?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is nothing but monolithic architecture. Monolithic means all models every time we are triggering build and we are generating artifact file. This artifact file we are going to deploy into the Tomcat server. But here doubt, సార్ మాడిఫై చేసింది ఇక్కడే కదా, మిగతావన్నీ ఎందుకు చేయాలి? నో నీడ్, రైట్? గాట్ ఇట్? ఇవన్నీ ఆల్రెడీ వర్క్ అవుతా ఉన్నాయి ఈ సర్వీసులన్నీ. సో బట్ డెవలపర్ మాడిఫైడ్ ఓన్లీ అకౌంట్ సర్వీస్. So how to trigger only account service? In this architecture, it is not possible. So now there is a one more is there, that is the microservices architecture. This is the microservice architecture. Microservice means ఈ మోడల్స్ మొత్తాన్ని మనం ఏం చేస్తాం? స్ప్లిట్ చేస్తాం. See here, UI model differentగా డిప్లాయ్ చేస్తాం. Account service model we are going to deploy different server, and inventory service we are going to different deploy, and shipping service. Now see here like this. Now suppose developer updated something account service. Now in this case we need to trigger all models, only we can trigger only account service. Hemant, here everything separated. మనం ఏం చేస్తాం? సపరేట్ చేస్తాం. So for example, in future, we are going to modify account service. Now we are going to trigger which model?
Account.
Only account model. For example, say they updated shipping service. No need to trigger all models. So they are going to trigger only shipping service. And how these all are connecting and all we'll see coming classes we can understand. For the time being, leave it. Okay, just I'm giving overview. What is monolithic means so entire project we are generating only one file, whether it is jar file, whether it is war file, whether it is er file. So that file we are going to deploy into any one server. This is nothing but a monolithic architecture. Suppose if you modified any one service, again we need to trigger entire project only. Now got it? This is the main point. Just remember. So if you modified anything this particular project, if you modified anything in the particular service, again we have to trigger entire project build only. Clear? Yes or no? So this is nothing but monolithic architecture. Now, what is microservices? Microservice means every service we are going to separate. Every service we are going to separate. If any changes happening particular service, we are going to trigger which service? We are going to trigger which service, ma? Only that particular service. For example, you modified, you updated inventory service. We are going to update only inventory service. Suppose we are going to update account service. No need to trigger this and all, no need to build again these services and all. Only we are going to trigger, only we are going to run the build account service related. This is nothing but microservices architecture. How these all are connecting means with the help of REST API. So this is the REST API and API gateway and all application program interface. And so based on this, these all are connecting each other. And just understand, try to understand how it will work. So what is microservice means? We are dividing multiple pieces, multiple models, and each model we are going to trigger based on your requirement. Which changes happening, which model. అంటే మనం ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఏ చేంజెస్ అయినా పర్టికులర్గా ఆ సర్వీస్ని ట్రిగ్గర్ చేయొచ్చు ఇక్కడ. సో బట్ ఇఫ్ యూ కమ్ టు హియర్ యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నో మోనోలిథిక్ ఓన్లీ. సో మీరు టామ్క్యాట్లో డిప్లాయ్ చేస్తుంటారు. టామ్క్యాట్ సర్వర్లో జెంకిన్స్ ద్వారా బిల్డ్ రన్ చేసి సో వార్ వచ్చిన ఇట్ విల్ జనరేటింగ్ వన్ వార్ ఫైల్, రైట్? సో దట్ వార్ ఫైల్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు డిప్లాయ్ ఇన్ టు ద సర్వర్. సో యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నౌ విచ్ సర్వీస్ విచ్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ monolithic means war file only we are going to deploy. Got it? I hope you got some idea, right? Anyone any doubt what is monolithic architecture, how it will work? Just simply understand the entire project we are grouping and we are generating one file, and that war file we are war file or jar file, that file only we are going to deploy into the server, any server, whether it is Tomcat server, JBoss server, WebLogic server, and so there is multiple servers available in market. We are going to deploy only that one file. But if you come to microservices, same project we are going to split at multiple models. Same project only. We are going to split multiple models. One model for front end. This is the four models. Here everything one file. But if you come to microservices, this is the one. This is one. This is the separately we are taking separate it. This is separate. This is separate. This is separate. If any changes happening here, every time we need to trigger again all models. But if we come to microservices, only we are splitted, we are separated, right? So if any changes happening here, we are going to trigger this build only. If any changes happening here, we are going to trigger only this build only. If any changes happening here, now got it? For example, we have one house. You want to modify one room. You are destroy entire building and only that room. Now got it? మనకు ఒక బిల్డింగ్ ఉంది, వాస్తు సరిలేదు, ఒక రూమ్ని మళ్ళీ ఆల్టర్ చేయాలి. మొత్తం బిల్డింగ్ మొత్తాన్ని డిస్ట్రాయ్ చేస్తామా, పర్టికులర్ రూమ్ని ఆల్టర్ చేస్తామా? వాట్ హేమంత్? క్లియర్? సో ఓన్లీ పర్టికులర్
Yes, sir.
పార్ట్నే మాడిఫై చేసుకోవాలంటే గో ఫర్ మైక్రో సర్వీసెస్. సో హియర్ నాట్ లైక్ దట్. మొత్తాన్ని మళ్ళీ తీసేసి ఇట్ ఈస్ జనరేటింగ్ న్యూ ఆర్టిఫాక్ట్ ఫైల్, న్యూ ఫైల్. వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు డిప్లాయ్ ఇట్. వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు డిప్లాయ్ ఇట్. ఐ హోప్ యూ గాట్ సమ్ ఐడియా, రైట్? what is monolithic, what is
Yes.
microservices. So interview also, so few people they asked, so what is microservices, which architecture right now we are following, so monolithic or microservices. Now we know both. Now if anyone asking, so we can say earlier we are following a micro monolithic architecture, and so right now we are migrating to microservices. Now we are going to use, so what is this Kubernetes and all. Now see here, now these are the, if you go here, see here, this is the Kubernetes. So now this is the advanced one. Anyway, once Docker is completed, so now we are going to learn a Kubernetes. This is the advanced one. See here, here we are maintaining only one Docker. Suppose if you want to handle multiple Dockers, why we need to go for Kubernetes? See here, this is one Docker, this is one Docker, here Docker, here Docker. If you want to handle multiple Dockers, we go for Kubernetes. Simply we are calling K8s. We'll see later what is the advantages and how it will work. I hope you got some idea, right? What is traditional deployment, what is a VM virtualized deployment, and what is container deployment, and what is so right now we are in containers. Right now we are in containers. This is a new terminology, containers, Docker. Okay, so here no need to install anything, very simple only. Next class I will show you how to install Docker and how to play with the Docker commands and all. So this is the one operating system, this is the one main operating system. On top of we are going to install the Docker, that's it. And with the help of Docker we are going to create multiple containers, multiple multiple containers. I hope you got it right. Clear, Hemant? What about others? Anyone any doubt here? What is traditional deployment, what is VM deployment, and why you go for container deployment, why you go for container deployment? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next class we'll see, and so how to set up and how to work with so Docker and all. So I'm stopping here. This is theoretical, right? Boring.